When the 2011 University of Georgia Cotton and Peanut Research Field Day was held in Tifton, it brought out a number of growers to take a look at the research being conducted by the University of Georgia cotton and peanut teams.
It's incredibly valuable. The way I look at it, it's one way that we as UGA peanut team members, the UGA cotton team members, we can show the producers in the state how we're spending their checkoff dollars in our research and extension programs to solve the problems that they face each and every year. So to me, that's the most important part and aspect of this, is just to say, here's what we're doing. And we only got to show a small snippet of what we're doing, but at least it shows them, hey, we're using your money and we're trying to use it wisely.
The funds for these projects come from the checkoff dollars paid by growers to the Georgia Peanut Commission and the Georgia Cotton Commission.
We've got 5 new varieties that are out there. They've been available during the past 5 years. Georgia-06G, Georgia Greener, Georgia-07W, Georgia-09B, and the most recent one this last year is Georgia-10T. We've got some new faces, I guess, on the entry list, you might say. So we're trying to develop varieties that are higher yielding, that have good grades, that are acceptable throughout the market, that have good disease tolerance and that sort of thing, that will be commercially acceptable throughout the whole industry, the growers, the shellers, the manufacturers, and the consumers. So each variety has to be acceptable for all the segments of the whole peanut industry in the U.S. We've got some new and improved varieties over the Georgia Greens, so I'm very excited.
Okay, in my opinion, the most important thing as far as what I do working with cotton and peanuts can be summarized in the plot work we have within 100 yards of where we are right now. Because if you look at the cotton plots I have behind me now, if you look at the peanut plots we have here and some further down the hill, basically every management strategy that cotton and peanut farmers have in Georgia right now to try and manage the root knot nematodes, and on cotton some of the other nematodes as well, we have them implemented here. Corley, I'm not the breeder, but I sure like to use your variety to put it out there and compare it to everything else. I'm not Dow AgroScience, but I like to put Telone out there and look at it. I'm not FiberMax or Phytogen, but the Stoneville 5458, the first time we saw resistance in that variety that we can talk about, we saw it behind you. The first time we saw the 367 with the Phytogen variety for the resistance, we saw it behind you. And so what we're able to do in a situation like this is to come up with management strategies using the tools that our breeders provide to us, our friends in the industry provide to us, and find an integrated management strategy that we can use them and bring it to the growers.
Well, of course, these researchers use a lot of tools, and one for peanuts is this one, a growing degree day model. It's being developed to help determine maturity of peanuts and the optimum time to harvest.
If you're a peanut producer, irrigated, non-irrigated, monitor your fields extremely closely. Check with your county extension agent. Make sure you do a hull scrape on these closely. We've got irrigated peanuts in this state that are running 130 days to maturity. We got some running 150. To give you an example, Sunbelt Expo, 30 miles from here, we planted the day after on April 27th. Those peanuts were ready last week. There's 2 weeks difference, planted a day apart, 30 miles apart, both irrigated. Microclimate and microenvironment has a huge bearing. Just don't assume that they're going to be about 140 days. They could be 130 days, it could be 150. This year more than ever, it's going to be extremely critical that you harvest as timely as possible to maximize yield and grade. So be patient, check with your county extension agents to run the hull scrape. We will keep you updated. Once Dr. Rowland and Dr. Faircloth feel very confident they've got all the bugs and tweaks fixed in this thing, we'll be running this with our county agents to start helping you utilize this model.
On my late planted cotton, and I think my late planted date this year was June 18, on the unsprayed plots I'm running between 70 and 80% damage, internal boll damage right now. So that's one where we've got the data to show that brown stink bugs starting next week and through the first week in October are going to be emerging en masse, and that's the overwintering generation. So if you've got late cotton, and I know a lot of you do, That's something you really need to be scouting for. It's been a pretty easy year on stink bugs. We haven't seen a lot of pressure in most places, but really these next 3 weeks are going to be critical. And like I say, we've got a lot of immatures coming through soybeans, some immatures coming through some cotton as well in terms of southern greens and greens, and some of these other plants that are in the landscape. We've got immatures. So I think that's one that you're going to be wanting to look at.
Well, this is a good opportunity to get our scientists together with the farmers. You can read about this stuff in magazines and even see it on TV, but until you're in the field, you're with the scientists, they're pointing out what you're looking at, describing it. Sometimes you really can't get a good feel for exactly what the issues are, and these field days are invaluable. Without this, I don't know that we'd be nearly as effective as getting out the information that we do. Our UGA peanut team is the best in the world. Makes sense. We grow more peanuts than any other state in the country. These are just some wonderful scientists. They're literally the best in the world at what they do. We're a little short in a couple places. We still need a peanut entomologist. That's a big problem in the state. Georgia seems to have hit bottom as far as our state economy is concerned. We've started back slowly. It's unfortunately going to be a slow climb out of a deep hole. I'm worried about the national economy right now and the potential to pull the state economy back down. But we've had about 13 good months of tax revenue. It's been pretty steady. Georgia seems to be coming out of this recession earlier than other states. As long as we can keep doing what we're doing, I think we'll be in good shape.
It's sad that we're losing some of our researchers. It's sad that we're losing some research dollars. As you look at the future, and the next 30 to 40 years into where we're going into feeding the people of the world, and the supply of food has to double, then it's going to take a lot of research for us to be able to accomplish those goals.
One of the things that we think about is that for most recommendations, the extension team and research team likes to have 3 years of data. And from this year, we can understand why. It's been a totally different year than what most of us have seen before. So it's kind of nice to see a little different look at things, and I think it's really important that we're continuing to make progress and look at cultivars with different disease resistance package for that might be applicable in different locations and what have you. I don't know that we'll ever get to the ultimate, but I think it's always great to know that we're making strides and making progress all the time.
And so the work goes on, and these UGA Extension Peanut Team and UGA Extension Cotton Team all working together to make cotton and peanuts the best two commodities in the whole wide world. I'm Jimmy Lee reporting for the Georgia Peanut Commission.